Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This week we got something just a little different. You know, I'm gonna step away from fantasy and sci-fi and all that religious stuff, and we're gonna jump into a little bit of reality. You know what? This week, Navy SEAL Frogmen. That's right. You know what? This is for a game, Spectre Ops, that I have dabbled a tiny bit in, and I really would love to dive into it. I love the military, the real-life military games. They're some of my favorite. I started off with World War II, painting models, tanks, bolt action, Conflict 47, all that stuff, Dust. I painted all of those. Tanks, Tigers, Shermans, what do you call it? Comets, British, you name them. I've painted all, and I love military. Military's for me is pretty easy. It's always there for me. It's just drabs and camos, and I love it. You know, you start stepping into the fantasy and you start getting the colors start becoming a little more brighter, and that's kind of when I stepped out of my realm and started my painting starting to get better, because I stepped off into the colors. What really capped off my colors, you know, I digress a little bit here, but really capped off my color expertise was the Marvel Zombie series. Tons of colors, bright colors. Man, you know what? Buy something that's going to push you a little bit. Anyway, I digress again. Guys, please like and subscribe. It really helps support the channel, and I'll see you guys in there. Alright, here we go. Stepping away from fantasy and sci-fi to a little bit of reality here. U.S. Navy SEALs, Frogman, right? Alright, this is a combat diver and special operations operator trained to conduct missions in maritime environments. The term Frogman historically refers to a military divers trained for underwater demolitions, reconnaissance, and infiltration. Yeah, that's right. Alright, let's see. Key characteristics of a Navy SEAL Frogman. Let's see, special warfare training. All Navy SEALs are trained in diving, underwater demolition, and combat swimming. This includes operating a high-risk aquatic environment, oceans, rivers, and harbors. Underwater capabilities. Frogmen are equipped with the closed-circuit rebreathers like the Draeger LRV to avoid surface bubbles and reduce detection during covert swims. What else here? Mission types. These operators conduct breach, reconnaissance, sabotage, hostage rescue, direct action raids, and covert insertions, often by sea, air, or land. Gear. Typical Frogman gear includes a wetsuit, fins, mask. What else we hear? Underwater navigation tools, waterproof weapons, and compact oxygen systems. Modern SEALs trace their lineage to World War II. Units like the Underwater Demolition Teams, the UDTs, which were instrumental in clearing beach obstacles and amphibious landings. Today, while the term Frogman is more historical, it still reflects the maritime roots of underwater expertise of SEAL operators. There they are, guys. I got these. I picked these up a little while ago. I've been eyeballing them for a while, and I just couldn't wait to get my hands on them, and I finally did. And here we are. And this is for Spectre Ops. This is going to be a SEAL team infiltrating some type of compound or something like that. These guys are really cool. And I've painted some military stuff in the past. I think I've done the British SAS, and I believe the special operations for the Marines. But these guys, now we're doing some Navy SEALs. Here we go. All right, so what we're going to do with these guys, you know, believe it or not, I came up, my paint scheme I came up with AI. AI has come up with everything for us here. So let's see. I'll show you a few examples. Right here, I took a picture of the model. I put it in the AI, and I said, come up with something that is, you know, let me back off just a little bit. Something that is Navy SEAL. And these two right here, this one's kind of a, there you go. He's kind of a blue, and this one's more of a kind of a faded camo, and they said that those were more of the realistic ones. And here's a few more that I came up with. Here's one in solid black. Here's one that's all muddied up, and then this one was just a kind of pure camo. I really like that one. That one's pretty cool. Let's see. And I told it to come up with a crazy one. And there it is. I said, you know, come up with one with a crazy pattern, and, and it came up with that. Here's a few others. There's another dark blue one. Let's see. I know there's a bit of a glare there. There we came up with an orange one. This one's really cool. I almost went with this, but I wanted to go with a little bit more of a rough look. That right there is clean. I like that. And then here's a couple of the ones that I said do black and gray highlights, and it came up with that. I could paint these guys just like this, and they would be terrific. But I actually have already done something like them, and I've done a special operations group, and I painted them all black and gray. Go check out that video. I'll put it in the link in the description. Anyway, this I'll show you the route that we're going to go. It's my favorite one so far, and AI said this was the one that was more representative of it, right there. So we're going to do this guy, except for definitely probably the fins will be black and things like that. And it didn't do a definition of the gun there. But this is the route we're going to go. We're going to have some fun with this. I'm really enjoying going off the beaten path again, not doing fantasy or sci-fi. I really enjoy doing real life stuff, and this is where we're going. So, all right, let's do it. All right, there we go. We got the base coat down. We just did some quick dry brush with some dark camo green. We weren't being very careful with it. Just smack it all over the place because we're going to stipple that. We're going to come back with another green, a light brown, and a brown, and we'll cover all of that stuff up. And then we're going to come back with like just a regular brush here, and then kind of touch the fins up, the pouches, the guns. I have a specific way I want to do the guns, and then we'll clean all this face up. But right now we're just mainly focusing on getting the camo down. And I'd like to end up it having being real dark, probably with the browns. So yeah, there we go. All right, let's get on with the next. I think we'll do brown. All right, let's do it. All right, there we go. As you saw, I just took that brown and I just jammed it on here and there, and it looks really, really nice. It really gives it a quick camo look on all of them. They all look terrific. Whoops, dropped that one. See, look at that. I mean, I just randomly stuck that brown on there. Super easy. That's just the way to go here. Let me zoom out a little bit. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna move in with a little bit of this what is this this drab brown, and we're going to touch it just a little on some of the little areas, and I'll probably end up using a smaller brush for that, just to kind of really keep it under control, because this is not going to have as much of this as I do the green and the brown. All right, let's do it. Go. The camo is pretty much done. That's it. You saw I took dark camo green, I took some dark umber, and I took that drab brown, and I just dry brushed it just on, and I wasn't super careful with any of it. As you can see, look at that camo. That looks really terrific. Let's look at the other guys real quick. Come over here and take a peek. All their camo, I mean, it all looks exactly the same. It's exactly what we want. Everybody's pretty much uniform. That's awesome. I love these guys. You know, I thought about doing the traditional black and all that, but you know, most of the ones I found, they have the camo and then they have the fins and all that. And there are some older photos of the guys all in black, but I thought this would be more appropriate. I like this, and it's kind of like the one I liked before, and it's also almost identical so far to the one the AI came up with. Mine's a little more precise, where AI is a little more rough. But I'm really happy with these, and I got a little particular thing I'm going to do with the guns. I'm not going to do them all black. I'm actually going to get a little cloth on there on the silencer, maybe on the butt of the gun there. Just some tiny little details. So okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to move on. I'm going to use black, and I'm going to hit those fins, and I'm pretty sure I'll do the pouches in a dark umber or or a dark camel green. I'm not quite sure yet. And this will be a rubber of sort. But first we're going to start off with the black. I'm going to get the boots and the fins, and I'll touch up this a little bit, and then we'll move forward. All right, let's do it. Alright, there we go. We've got all of the gray and the black highlights down, the rubber highlights I should say. We got it on the armor on the back, on all the guys. We got it, and we got it on the we highlighted all the black areas, and we're leaving the gun for last. So what we're gonna do with the gun is I'm gonna actually use a little bit of, let me zoom out here a little bit of drab brown and maybe some khaki, and I'm gonna put some covers on these guns and just give them a little bit of life. All right, let's do it. All right, let's get a better look at that where we are so far. I think that white was drowning a lot of it out. We did the rubber highlight on the armor, on all the black stuff. The only thing that we have left now are the guns, and I'm going to get some tan and drab brown wraps on these guns. Maybe on the silencer here, maybe a little metallic. Actually, I take that back. I'm going to do a little metallic work on this respirator up here on his face when I do the gun. But for now, I'm going to start with the drab brown right here. Let's see. I'm going to be using where is it? Drab brown and green brown, and probably a little bit of ivory. And you'll see where I'm going. I'm really looking forward to this. I've always painted the guns just kind of black and metallic, but I'm gonna go a little further on this one. All right, let's do it. Okay, I painted what I wanted to do on the gun on just one of the guys. I just wanted to see what it looked like, and that's really cool. I really like the way that turned out. It's got the wraps on on the butt and on the scope and on the handle, kind of camouflaged a little bit, and I've put a little bit of dark silver on for the clip. And again, I'm coming over wash. I'm going to be washing with Agrax on everything here, and it's going to really darken those down and bring it back down to the drab where we want it. I'm going to do this with all the guns. Maybe I'll leave one black and I'll do the rest this way. I really like this. Only that's probably not actually accurate for what guys do when they're sneaking in or creeping in. They want to keep it black, but this is just fun, trying to give it a little bit of color. Maybe they're in a jam and they've got these rifles, right? Anyway, all right, so let's push forward, and I'll show you how I did that. And I know. All right, let's do it. All right, so right here we're going to start with a little bit of drab brown. I'm not going to paint the whole thing, just a little bit of it right there. Right there, cover that up. Oops. All right. And then do the same thing to the other side. Let's see if I can flip it. I was trying to flip it so we didn't lose focus, and then I'd have to do another clip, and we don't want to do that. Just want to get these on there. All right. There we go. All right. Then the last part we will do is we will get just a little bit. I want to make sure it's in focus. Ivory. Fist in the middle. like it's wrapped up. Alright, I think for the base we're going to have a little bit of fun here. I'm going to do a little bit of sand and ocean, like they're coming off the beach. And I'm not going to use any textures, I'm just going to use straight paints. And I will do, probably, let's take a look at this first one here. So I'll do sand on half of it and maybe a little bit of water behind him. Yeah, you know, kind of we'll do a dark blue and then a sea blue and then a regular blue, and then we'll do some sand color. And we're not going to be too crazy. We'll do a little bit of blending, and I may even add a little bit of foam with some white on the edge of the blue. We'll see. But I think this will be fun rather than doing what I usually do is I put the glue down and I put the train on there. I mean, it looks really terrific, but I think these guys are a little special, and that's what I'd like to do. So we're not going to use any basing. I've got to paint those bases, but other than that, we're going to start off. I think I'll start off with this with the drab brown first to give the base, and I'll do that. I think I'll just do one and see what it turns out, and then we'll go from there. All right, let's do that. Okay, for a final step, I added a little bit of white to the mix, just so we can give it a little bit of contrast as they're moving in, right? Super simple, real quick, just on the edges here. Probably hard to see, right there. Alright, these bases are turning out great. We did the sea base, and then I added a little bit of that, you saw that, what was it, green brown to the mix to get that light. And I just went to the edge where the sand meets the water. And now I'm going to come back with a little bit of probably bright ivory and just touch up around the boots and just on the shore there. Just very subtle, very subtle. Alright, let's do it. Alright, there we go. Bases are done. Just real quick, simple stuff. You know, and I'm not going to put any wash on that. I will touch up the black around the rim. I'll do that next. And then we're going to do a matte varnish over the top. And these guys are done. You know, I could do the dust, but, you know, there's no dust. They're getting out of the water kind of thing. If anything, I should put some water effects on them. But we're not going to go there. So these guys, oh, man, I'm really happy with the way those bases turned out. Those are terrific, and they all look the same. I mean, you know, a little different, but like they're all lined up coming off. Really, really like that. All right, so let's get the bases, matte varnish on the top, and get it on the spinner. All right, let's do it. Well, there you have it, guys. Navy SEAL Frogmen. What a cool little paint. I love stepping back and doing the military stuff. Military, again, as I said in the intro, was kind of where I started. I actually started with X-Wing, of all things, the pre-painted models. I repainted them. That's where I started years and years ago. I didn't even start with Warhammer or anything like that. I started with X-Wing. So that'll tell you how long I've been painting. When X-Wing came out, that's when I started painting. I don't know. It's been a minute. But so I love the real time, the real world stuff. You know, it's always fun. It has a little more. I don't even have the words, you know, to put behind it, but I just love military stuff, and I believe I'll be doing a little more. I've got some vehicles, I've got some Russian stuff. I've been kind of staying away from the Russian stuff just because of what's going on, but I think I'll throw them in there now. I've got a whole line of Russian, like what do you call them, mercenary guys, kind of. So anyway, stay tuned for that'll be on the pipe. And we still have I still got to get some zombicide. I still have to get to, man, my Krieg set. My piles, they just keep getting bigger and bigger, but that's the way it goes. Anyway, guys, please like and subscribe. It really helps support the channel, and I'll catch you next week.